All right, so given the fact that you're very happily engaged now,
Yes.
do you look back on Jigsaw in a different light and in your thought process around Jigsaw differently at all?
No, and it's the thing that annoys me is the amount of people that, and man, I get it. Like, I know it's a joke most of the time when people call me a hypocrite. Like, it's the joke I'd fucking make. Like, I get it, but at a purely personal whiny level, I'm like, I'm not a hypocrite. Jigsaw was never. I never once said love wasn't real. The whole point was it definitely exists, and that's what I was after. It was meant to be. The whole point was, I kept forcing myself into relationships because I was so desperate to be in a relationship because that's what I thought I had to do. I would compromise myself so much in relationships because that's what I'd learned relationships were about sacrifice and about sacrificing part of yourselves for the greater good of this relationship so you and this person can be together forever. And then just, settling and giving up and, compromising your own happiness for the sake of the greater good. And I didn't, I was like, that's bullshit. Like, I refuse to believe that's what a relationship is. That's what I've done so many times, and I've hated all those relationships. So now I'm going to make sure that in the future, you have to love 100% of who I am. And that was the whole thing. Like, you have to truly love me for all of me. And I have found someone like that. Don't get me wrong, it's weird. Like, you think you want it, and then you find somebody who actually loves 100% of you, and you're like, oh, you're fucked up. Like that, like you definitely shouldn't love all of me. Like, now that you love all of me, I guess I do kind of have to admit that I am a flawed person, and maybe you shouldn't love those flaws, because if you love them, I'll not improve them. And it would be nice to, I only hold myself to a certain level, but because I love you more than I love myself, it would be nicer for you to, carry me up. And but even then, I think she just wants the best for me, and as long as I'm happy, she's happy. And that is exactly the type of relationship I was yelling about, and the one that you should settle for. Like, the whole thing was, for me, she's better than being single. And that was always, I was like, yeah, being single was so much fun for me that if you were going to get me into a relationship, it had to be fucking better. It had to be no, and the second it stopped being better than being single, I'm out that fucking relationship. Because the other thing is good. I'm always going to go for what makes me happier. Now, definitely happier than I was when I was single, consistently, all the time. Not been any. The only arguments we've ever had so far is when I'm being the psychopath. And that was just like during the pandemic, and that was a narcissist going from all the attention in the world to none of it. So it was just some adjustments on my side.
Some people use that lack of love from the other side as like that's an attractive quality, or like elements that the other side pulls away. When people get too keen, or when people do begin to love 100% of you, you can actually start to pull away from that because you think, hang on, if I don't fully love myself and this person does, fuck, there must be something wrong with them, which means that I shouldn't be in a relationship with them. Yeah. It's so bizarre that the thing that we've wanted all along, which is for someone to accept us for our flaws, warts and all, successes and all, to support us through good times and bad, when someone does do that, because we have such an inherently poor own self-image, we actually get turned off by that.
Yeah, yeah. But I think you can get beyond that. You just have to acknowledge that's what is happening there. What is that? Is somebody's truly loving you for who you are? It's not a lack. It's not a bad thing on their part. You should use that to go, right, they do love who all of I am, and I love them so much. I should be better because I want to fucking bar it. I don't want to make them love a piece of shit. Like, I don't mind my own, like, we can all hate our own reputation, but if I'm just walking around looking like shit, smelling like shit, and they still love me, that's very irresponsible of me. Like, I should be making them, they're always going to be proud of what they love. Yeah. But I should be doing my best to make sure that other people aren't going, have you seen what she's let him get away with? Like, he's a beast now. He's a smelly, decrepit beast. I can't. And no, she still loves him. She says his heart's good, apparently.
Yeah, fucking weird. Another thing is when people, if you fall quite hard for someone, if you love someone very quickly, or if you're spending a little bit of time, the same thing can happen. If you get too keen too fast, the amount of game playing, I think this is something that I struggled with a lot during my 20s because I wanted to be loved. Like, I really, really wanted, I'm quite an affectionate person, which I think that you are as well. Like, I just really, really wanted to be loved and have an emotional connection with somebody. And what it leads to is you your emotions end up being further ahead of how you're displaying your emotions to the other person. So like your emotions are moving at 1,000 miles an hour and you're like, right, yeah, but I need to pump the brakes on what I'm actually texting this person or saying to them in front. So you end up playing this like weird reserved game version of you because you know if you come on too strong, too fast, this person's going to go away.
Yeah, trying to decode each other's messages, like I don't get me wrong, like there were so many things I did love about being single, but man, it was stressful. Like, boys, you're like, is this the right thing to
How long
say?
should I wait to reply?
How long should I wait? Like, is this too forward? Like, I don't want to make this person comfortable, but is it not, or is it not forward enough? Like, have I made sure that, like, you know, if it is just a fling I'm after, they know that that's what the goal is,
Setting
and
the
I'm not like.
boundaries.
Yeah, I'm not I'm not making someone feel like I'm after a relationship, like I'm not giving them mixed signals, but let's also make sure that I'm not getting fucking mixed signals. Let's make sure that I'm making it, and it's, a whole bunch
It's a fucking minefield, man. Like, this is the thing. This is the thing for the boomers out there, or for someone that's been in a relationship for ages, that's looking at Tinder and fucking OnlyFans.
You would be shit at it. Every single one of you wouldn't last a fucking second. It would be like signing up to the army now, you decrepit old cunts. You'd be shot dead by a sniper you didn't even know was on the field. Like, it would be a fucking drone strike and you're over. Like, none of you. If you're over 40, it's over.
What's happening, people? If you enjoyed that, then press here for the full, unedited episode. And don't forget to subscribe. Peace.